Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CASTcast. This is the podcast for the Association for Software Testing, and specifically the Conference of the Association for Software Testing, otherwise known as CAST. I'm Michael Larson.
And I'm Claire Moss.
And we are joined again by Matt Heusser.
Good morning.
Since we've already talked to Matt and we've already gone through Matt's origin story, we're going to jump right into our main topic today, which is, what is TestRetreat and why should you go?
Last year, I was the only social media team member for the CAST conference and had a chance to do some blogging about TestRetreat. So I interviewed Curtis Pettit about his experiences since he had been a long-time attendee. But I'm really excited that this time we get to talk to the man with the plan.
Well, thank you, I guess. That's awesome to know.
Actually, this is an interesting origin story. So I got involved in the testing crowd because Matt Heusser had done a lightning talk on agilistas, and I was going to tell him how he was wrong. So I made a blog post about team composition, and then he responded, and we became friends that way. And when Matt was putting together the very first test coach camp, which was the precursor to TestRetreat, he suggested that I join in. And I thought, well, that seems a little strange because I don't coach testers. I coach people who aren't testers about testing. And we got into a really good conversation about what the heck do testers really do? So I'm excited to see how that conversation continues this year at TestRetreat.
And we brought that full circle because what do testers really do is, of course, the theme for CAST 2017.
Oh, I could tell Claire was going there. That was good. That was good.
I'm masterful. What can I say?
I was also part of that first group that did Test Coach Camp at CAST in 2012.
And that was how you met Ken Peer, who later hired you to work at Social Text.
Yeah, it's very interesting how these loose threads all come together. But what is it, Matt? What is TestRetreat? Why should people want to go?
Well, let's start with Test Coach Camp was an open space event. An open space being there's no pre-planned agenda. We talk about what we want to talk about. So you would propose your ideas. We have an opening that sort of explains the rules. And then we propose the ideas and put them on the wall, maybe a half day at a time. Sort them. So you say, I want to go to that session. Can you move yours down so we don't conflict? And usually around 30 to 40 people. And Test Coach Camp, we had so many ideas because the people we got were really engaged. Everybody had ideas. We actually did to limit the number of things that we were going to talk about. Run through them. If you host a session, you're probably not presenting. I mentioned on the other session that I had this a simulation that I wanted to run, and in that environment with those people seemed good. But most of the time, you're more hosting. You're offering to host a conversation. You got a problem you're trying to solve. It's not pitching out. It's actually, let's let our hair down and get real and talk about what we're working with. Let's build an entire conference out of hallway conversation. You do that all morning. You go out to lunch, maybe with a topic in mind, maybe not. You come back, do the same thing all afternoon, and then at the end you have a closing where you have sort of a retrospective and opportunity to ask for help if you need it and close out the day. Test Coach Camp was 2 days. We made TestRetreat 1 day. We ran it before CAST. I think it was before CAST for several years. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. You can do this like, I'm going to try to gin up some speaking ideas. I'm going to get some leadership ideas. I'm going to solve some problems for work. And we're flipping it around this year and doing it the day after CAST. And my hope for that is that, you go to a conference, you have all these cool ideas, and you come back to the office and you say, I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try that. And the boss says, no, 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 and every project you were working on is a week late because you were gone for a week, so get back to it. And I'm hoping we can spend that day saying, I know I'm going to get resistance to these cool ideas I'm thinking about from the conference. How do I pick the 3 ideas that are really going to land solidly and going to demonstrate the value of the conference? And how do I make them succeed? And we actually go from cool theory I might do someday to what am I going to do on Monday? I'm hoping that is an outcome of TestRetreat this year.
It sounds like it would be a great day-long debrief, almost like making your plans about how to take things home and to make your life different.
That's my hope. There's a couple of different roles there. There's the facilitator who makes sure that the sessions run on time and just sort of keeps things running. And my role has really historically been more of a product owner. What's the quality of the conversations? How are things going? Do things need to be tweaked? Has really historically been my role there. And I'm trying to figure out if we can get somebody to do the heavy lifting facilitating so I can focus on that again this year. But really, it's whatever people want it to be. If they wanted to sit around and talk about Canadian ice wine and spend the whole day on that and got a lot of value out of it, then that's worth it. You have to pursue your own value. It's not going to be spoon-fed to you.
So it's co-located with the conference, is that correct?
Same location this year, yep. AST ran it the first year. My company, Exelon Development, ran it for several years after that. And AST has been licensing it. It is an AST joint. It's part of CAST, same location even this year, which I'm really pleased with.
So one of the things that I've always valued about any of the conferences that we go to is what are the things that you can do without having to ask permission? You just do them and you just put them in place and let people discover that that's what you've been doing. And I think that that's where TestRetreat is actually very helpful because of the fact that it's not very formal. It's not, we're giving formal talks that have been prepared, that are part of our consulting business, that we sell, if you will, because let's face it, for a lot of conferences, that's really how people make their money. They generate business by giving conference talks and by presenting. That's not the goal here. The goal here is these are everyday people doing stuff in their real work environment, sharing ideas that may come off the cuff. And 2 or 3 people might go, oh, that's a pain point for me. I want to talk about that. And then walk away with, I learned 2 or 3 new things here, and they're not me writing a whole brand new framework or me having to completely sell people on a redesign of our product. It's a small thing. It's a small detail or tweak or quirk that I hadn't considered before, or I hadn't considered in this light. And now I've got something new I can try, and I don't have to ask permission. I can just go do it.
I would say that you're very on the money there. Having motivated collaborators is one of the things that I really like about TestRetreat and open spaces format, where you gravitate toward an area of shared interest. One of the things that you can get out of it if you're asking to have those collaborators on a particular topic is people with completely different experiences who aren't from your context, who can tell you things that you can't see for yourself.
Consultant's gambit is that when I come from outside of your culture and look in, I'll go, I noticed that no one is smiling. Little things that all of a sudden you crack a joke and everybody laughs and all of a sudden there's relief and productivity goes up 20% magically. Maybe that's not the best example, but bringing in an outsider and asking them, there's one of 2 possibilities. One is that you get the ideas you just never thought of, and the other is that people recognize, or you recognize for yourself, this is really tough and there is no magic. And we've had a couple sessions like that at TestRetreat too. That's okay. It sort of boils off the naivete, and we're going to have to roll up our sleeves or radically change something about the way the work is structured, or it's just not going to change, and I'm going to have to learn how to deal with it.
Well, again, we want to be able to sustain a little bit of suspense. So if the idea of TestRetreat is intriguing you, or you want to learn more or discover more, we encourage you to go to www.associationforsoftwaretesting.org, click on the CAST 2017 link, and then click on TestRetreat, and you can learn more about it, and you can sign up, and we would love to see you there. And with that, we are going to respect everybody's time, and we're going to say farewell, but we'll be back again with more CASTcast in the coming days. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks for having me.